Okay, well, it's Friday, so let's do something a little bit lightweight and happy. 2003, School of Rock. Now, is this a musical? I've been doing lots of musicals lately, so is this a musical? Well, I'm saying it is, but despite that, it's very watchable. Dewey Finn, who's played by Jack Black, is a guitarist in a band that plays live around town, and he also hasn't paid his rent for a while, and he shares a place with Ned and Patty. And not only that, his band replace him with another guitarist. Now, Ned is a teacher with an agency, and Dewey, who's of course now at home, answers a phone call intended for Ned, and he pretends to be Ned. Dewey pretends to be Ned and accepts a new position as a short-term substitute teacher because, he needs the rent money. Yeah, he turns up at the school and he tries to teach them, well, anything that he can vaguely understand himself, which really isn't a lot. So within a few days, Dewey realises that some of the students actually play musical instruments, so he decides to form a band from the class. Now, he starts actually teaching for once, but teaching rock history. And there's an excellent scene with a rock family tree type of diagram of bands and their connections and influences and the resulting musical styles. And I think this kind of stems from another person called John Tobler, who in the 1970s and 80s did a really good BBC series called Rock Family Trees. And it was illustrated in this kind of way, although it was a radio programme. Anyway, all of this is meticulously drawn on the board, and I don't know how he must have had to rub that off every day and put it back on, but there you go. Now, he has to do a lot of encouraging and priming the students' potential to build motivation in all of them to take this seriously. And there's a lot of overcoming of problems, etc., because, well, that's the stage we're at in this story, the overcoming of problems stage. Not all of the students share his casual counterculture attitude, but eventually most of them are on his side, as he's full of encouragement and support for them. Now, he proposes that they could enter the school's band in the Battle of the Bands competition. So he sneaks the band out of class to audition and sign up. Also, concurrently, there's a lot of concurrent tracks in this film. It's actually very well structured. Rosalie Mullins, the head principal of the school, who has never quite realised that Dewey wasn't really teaching to the curriculum, pays a surprise visit to the class, so Dewey has to appear to be teaching something that he was actually supposed to be teaching. Mullins explains about forthcoming parents' nights the day before the Battle of the Bands, so there's a bit of tension going on now. Dewey and Mullins start to get on a bit more at this point. They go out for a drink, for example. Ned takes the pay slip. Ned gets the pay slip for his teaching that he knows nothing about. Why am I being paid for something I've never taught? And it all starts going completely disastrously in every way around about now. Anyway, the film goes on. It resolves in quite interesting ways. The soundtrack album of the songs in the film is quite an excellent set of songs. Lots of proper rock. Lots of good AC/DC, I might say. And having grown up in Australia, AC/DC are a very good Melbourne band. All the kids in the film really did play their instruments. They were cast because they were already excellent at their instrument. They looked far and wide and found kids who know how to play very well. Mike White wrote the script specifically for Jack Black. Mike acts in the film as well as Ned, the real Ned. Jack Black used to play games when they were filming. Jack Black used to play games with the kids between takes. And there's also a scene featuring Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song, quite a famous scene. But Led Zeppelin, you see, are famously unenthusiastic about giving any sort of permission for their music to be used in film or television at all. So they decided to, as a safety measure, to shoot a scene where Jack Black would be begging in front of an audience for permission to use the music. And when shown a clip of this, the remaining still alive members of Led Zeppelin liked it and agreed to give permission for the song to be used. So, 2003, whoops, why have I faded to black? 2003, School of Rock. Have a very, very good weekend. Thank you very much. Goodbye.